On the Juve side, how they're paying for this, there's a great thread from my financial hero, Swiss Ramble. You can go check it out on Twitter. I'll probably retweet it. But basically, as you know, Juve, having made more than 300 million euros in losses the last 2 years, excluding like sort of their non-player trading numbers, I think they haven't made a profit since 2015.
Yeah.
So they're not in a good place that way. And again, and I always get this. I had people on Twitter say this. Oh, but Agnelli's so rich, Exor's so rich. I'm like, it doesn't freaking matter. First of all, the company that owns them, Exor, which represents the Agnelli family and other shareholders, they're running a business too. They're not going to bankroll losses endlessly, right? They want to go and break even. They need to grow and break even because financial fair play, despite what we think, is still a thing and will be coming back, right? Yeah. And they have shareholders, and they're responsible to those shareholders because part of their shares are publicly listed, right? Yeah. So I think it's important to bear all this in mind. So the way they're doing it is, obviously they're saving a ton of money on Cristiano Ronaldo. Between wages and amortization, his wages alone were something in the order of 65 million euros, I think, plus the amortization, plus the, 20 million euros or 50 million euros they got from United. 15, all of that is money that's coming back in. They're getting Bentancur and Kulusevski's wages off their books, which aren't as high as Kulusevski and Zakaria's, but they're not low either. Yeah. And obviously, they're getting in money. I think it's something like 25 million euros for Bentancur, and it's 10 million euros, I'm told, for Kulusevski's loan fee. So I think these things generally offset each other, more than offset each other, at least for now. On top of that, the raise also did allow something like the capital raise. Did allow something like for close to 80 million to keep the team competitive.
Yeah.
Now they can't all
spend all of that on Vlahovic, right?
Well, no, because they made the savings off of Cristiano and whatever.
Still,
a chunk of that goes on that. Also, the other thing, bear in mind, is they still have to physically pay for Chiesa and Locatelli and Moise Kean. These are loans with obligations to buy. So there's going to be payables coming due. But that's how they did it. This is a situation.
It still feels a bit like a miracle compared to what Agnelli was saying at the time of the Super League and all the figures that we've had of like, look, they've got no money. There's no money there, and suddenly, and I understand all you say makes sense, and it's the logic, and it's there. We can see it. It's not that they've made they've falsified a check or anything. I understand what you're saying, but still, it feels a bit like a miracle because we really thought they can't buy Vlahovic. They don't have that kind of money ready like this available, and somehow they find it great for them. I'm not saying it's fantastic because they needed that, but it feels a bit like, oh wow, they put this one off the
Yeah, I know. But look, if you bring up Agnelli in the Super League, or you can mention Florentino as well. No, at the time they're all crying and say, "Oh, we're all screwed." And then of course, look, Real Madrid are making a profit during COVID. Come on, No. You take that for what it's worth. I think it is true that if Juventus wasn't Juventus, if they didn't have, wealthy shareholders, then they would have been seriously cash-strapped. If it was being run purely as a business without the opportunity to raise capital,
like you said,
then it would be a different story. But do you see them doing anything in the Champions League?
Of course. I think now you have to almost revisit what you make of them, what you think of them. You need to wait a little bit, and I think February, they've got some big gaps coming up in the league as well, and see how Vlahovic integrates into this team. Again, I know we keep saying it, but it's true. It will depend a lot on if they can get him scoring straight away, if he's very clinical and scores a lot of goals, because it has been the problem this season. They haven't been scoring enough, and you can't win the Champions League. I don't think they're strong enough defensively to just win the Champions League purely based on their defensive strength, and then just scoring the odd goal there and there, winning on penalties, blah, blah, blah. So it will depend a lot on that, but they're certainly better armed now for anything, not for the Scudetto, but for anything Champions League-wise, top 4 finish-wise, than they were before.
I agree. I think in the Champions League with the format, you could see maybe they can get hot, they can go on a run. Obviously, on paper, for me at least, they're not on a level with Manchester City or Bayern or Liverpool.
Collectively,
or Paris Saint-Germain.
collectively, they've been very average all season.
They really have, and despite the fact that they had a great run, they had good results in the Champions League, which is why they topped the group, and which is why they have, on paper anyway, a favorable draw in the round of 16 with Villarreal. Although, again, many people have looked at Villarreal, have made the mistake of thinking, oh look, it's just Unai Emery, and then let to tell the tale. But I think the priority: finish top 4.
Yeah. More
people to go off the books. They're still hoping, as we tape this, to get rid of Aaron Ramsey. Maybe he'll move on in the summer. But I think if you're Juve, really this is probably the first window since Cristiano Ronaldo where you're kind of smiling from year to year.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.